Emergencies are unpredictable, but you don't have to be unprepared. Peak Alerts sends you targeted emergency alerts in real time for the places that matter to you most, so you know what's happening and what to do next. Know first, act fast. That's the power of Peak Alerts.
Well, good Monday morning, crew. It is February, what is it, the 23rd. It's just rolling right along here. Good morning to you. Hope you had a great weekend. You are watching Mornings with Meister on Peaks2Plains Weather, and really good to be here with you as we start off the week. And I'm going to begin this morning with my picture of the day. And this is a really, really good one. This was sent in last week by Todd. He was south of Pueblo. He was looking up to the north, and you see kind of the waviness to the clouds there. He caught some Kelvin Helmholtz waves. That's what those are. Those are fantastic. So Todd, thanks for sending that in. I appreciate it. Those are really, really neat. One of my kind of favorite things to see across southern Colorado. They usually don't last all that long, so that was pretty cool to see that. Let's talk about what's happening out there this morning. You see a little bit of color in the sky at Wolf Creek this morning, and it's 28 there, which isn't too bad. Beautiful shot there with the snowcat, Crested Butte in the background. They will warm up into the 30s today at the base. A little bit of color in Monarch this morning, where it's 18 degrees and the wind out of the west at 37 miles per hour. Mountain wave clouds in Woodland Park this morning with a beautiful sunrise. If you've got a picture you want to send me, open up the Peaks2Plains app in the bottom right-hand corner. Use Send to Matt. Maybe I'll use that tomorrow as my pick of the day. It's 18 this morning in Cascade, so good morning, everybody, on the hills of Pikes Peak as we start off our day. In Monument this morning, there are no travel issues out there, and you can see in this shot from Falcon that we've got kind of some pinks there. There's a little bit of a pink hue. It is a really, really pretty sunrise this morning. We're waking up in the teens and 20s. A couple spots are in the 30s this morning. There is a sensor in Woodland Park that has that. Denver, you see the warmest readings up against the foothills. That's usually a sign that temperatures are going to be pretty warm across the region. In fact, compared to this time yesterday, we are quite a bit warmer already, and that is a trend that will continue as we head into the afternoon. So what'd you do this weekend? I took my dog sort of start to the week here. And I'm going to head over to the weather wall and do that because we have had some high clouds moving in overnight. You see that here early this morning. And it's part of the large scale weather pattern here that has a ridge of high pressure off to our west. There's been some high cloudiness moving through here. You see some mountain wave clouds back here, and we have that moisture moving into Colorado today. Mountain wave clouds might be a little bit thicker at times than some of the computers are showing, and you can see the back edge of those early this morning off to the north of Colorado Springs here. We saw some of those in the camera from Woodland Park. And so for Banjo's barometer today, it's going to be a lot warmer than it was over the weekend. And so Banjo likes that. This is the day this week, especially for Tuesday and Wednesday, where we have less wind. That's also good news. Banjo likes that. But he can't go with a 10 today because the high clouds might be a little bit thick at times. That always impacts the feel a little bit. And you can see that here on SkyCast. It's showing some of the high clouds moving through. It's not showing like a ton of them, though. And I think this is one of those situations where the computer models underdo that a little bit. So again, I just want to let you know that they might be a little bit thick at times, might have a pretty sunset, kind of like we're having a pretty sunrise this morning. I'm going to run the wind speed through the day today. This is the day as the ridge moves in from the west where we have lighter wind than what we're going to start to have the next couple of days. So that and the temperatures is really, really nice. It's going to be a very comfortable day to be outside. We're warmer than what we were over the weekend. We get 61 or so in the Springs. We'll flirt with 70. A couple spots out across the eastern plains might stay in the 50s to the north of the Arkansas River. As you get into Cheyenne County, Kit Carson County, we'll watch for that. 40s and 50s over the mountains, so a warm day in Colorado's high country today. Overnight will be warmer than where we are this morning. That's because we really start to get into this pattern here where we develop the downslope flow, and it starts to change things up a little bit for Tuesday. In fact, it'll be warmer tomorrow, flirting with 80 out here across the plains and getting to around 70 in the Springs, even some 60s showing up along the Arkansas River tomorrow. But that's because the wind starts to become a little bit of an issue. So as we head into this afternoon, we're fine. As we move into the overnight, watch some of these oranges here off to the west of Denver as we move from Monday into Tuesday here. Some of these are going to start to be pretty strong. Not as strong in southern Colorado as they will be around Fairplay and off to the west of Denver, around Red Feather Lakes, up across Rabbit Ears Pass. And then we might start to see some of the typical windy areas get a little bit windy into tomorrow morning. But during the day on Tuesday, the wind really starts to pick up over the mountain areas here, and you see some of these numbers responding. It'll take a while for some of the lower elevations, but eventually we will start to see some wind here, at least up against the Front Range. It won't be as bad as far off to the east, but you see some of these brighter oranges here will start to get the potential for some wind gusts in the mountains that'll be over 50 miles per hour. With the downslope flow, the warmer air tomorrow, we have a fire weather watch that is in effect from the south side of Colorado Springs along the interstate, off to the east here across Crowley County, Otero County, into Los Animas County, and there is a high wind watch that lasts during the day on Tuesday for some of those mountain areas to the west of Denver. Some of those brighter oranges that I showed you could be between 60 and 80 miles per hour. So that obviously is a high fire danger day, and we start to get some wind. And we're not done with it on Tuesday. As we move into Wednesday, we'll see some more wind. We'll keep the wind overnight into early Wednesday morning against the eastern slopes, so that's kind of nice for a lot of us. See Walsenburg still getting some there. It's one of the lower spots here along the Sangre de Cristos is La Vida Pass. That's why we're kind of always windy here on Highway 160. But we move into Wednesday and we get a weather system approaching from the north. It's going to bring a cold front across the area during the day on Wednesday. And that's going to pick up the wind, I think, for some of us along the interstate, probably stronger than what we get on Tuesday. And we'll get the wind to spread farther off to the east on Wednesday as well. And you see the computer model picking up a 50 mile per hour gust possible in Pueblo. And so that will be another high fire danger day across the region. We'll just keep that rolling into the early hours of Wednesday evening. Now, with that downslope flow developing, Wednesday's also a really, really mild start to the day. And temperatures come down a little bit Wednesday, but this system doesn't have a ton of cold air with it. In fact, behind it for Thursday, we only drop a couple degrees here. So, you know, the cold isn't the story with this. It's certainly the wind. And so that is going to be an issue here through the middle part of the week. I'm going to take a really, really short break here, and then I will come back with more on our extended forecast, and we'll say hi to you on this Monday morning. Hold tight.
Another attorney commercial with big promises, millions of dollars, practicing law 24 hours a day, blah, blah, blah. Let's get rid of the smoke and mirrors. None of that really matters. What does matter? Having a medical doctor as your attorney. That matters.
All right, let's say hi to some of you here on this Monday morning. Jennifer says, good morning. Jennifer, hope you had a great weekend. And Karen also says, good morning, and she hopes I had a great weekend. I did. Clinton's checking in from Poncha Springs and says that it is beautiful this morning. He's talking about that sunrise. Marty asked a question, is it to work outside? Is it okay to work outside, maybe is what he meant there? Yeah, I think today's probably the best day until we get to maybe Thursday or so, Marty. So that is something, you know, just in planning purposes, I mean, I'd get out there today. It is a good one. Let's talk about the extended forecast here just a little bit. And I'm going to start off with what happens from a precipitation standpoint with that midweek system that I was talking about here, because I think we get high clouds again tomorrow. Remember, we've got the wind issues from Tuesday into Wednesday. As that system comes in from the northwest, west on Wednesday, it is going to bring some snow to the central and northern mountains. And you see that starting to pick up here on Wednesday morning, and it really picks up in earnest during the day on Wednesday. Now, I think we'll get somewhere on the order of 3 to 7 inches for a lot of the ski resorts, maybe a little bit higher than that for a couple. And we'll probably catch some showers by the time we hit Wednesday afternoon over the southern mountains, but this one isn't really a big issue for the San Juans or the La Garita Mountains. Monarch might catch a couple inches of snow. As the cold front comes in, during the afternoon on Wednesday, it does open the door for a little window for some showers across the Palmer Divide and parts of the Eastern Plains Wednesday evening. Right now, those don't look significant, and because of the temperatures with the system, might only end up as a mix of rain and snow or maybe some wet snow across the Palmer Divide. It's something we'll keep an eye on, and I do have that in the forecast for Wednesday evening. I think we'd mainly be dry during the day, and we'll talk more about that over the next couple of days. Then pretty quiet for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then kind of an interesting forecast for Sunday into Monday of next week. And I have us catching some colder air and the chance of some snow as we move from Sunday night into Monday. And for Pueblo, I have the same thing here with the temperatures starting to come down Sunday and then Monday being a little bit chillier. Now, there's disagreement in computers here as we head into that time frame, which to be expected. I mean, it's a week away, right? Exactly a week away from where we are right now. But I'll show you what I'm going to watch here over the next couple of days. So we do have this chance of snow for our central and northern ski resorts here for the middle part of the week. I don't think we get any accumulation over the Palmer Divide, but that's something we're going to watch. So if you're heading up to the ski resorts, there will be some fresh snow here as we move into Thursday and Friday. But let's talk about the upper level pattern, because that's what's going to determine what we have late in the weekend into early next week. And you see that midweek system here on Wednesday, and with that jet just to our north, that's what opens the door for the wind here. Then it does kind of set up this pattern here where we have some troughiness, which is a dip in the jet stream over the eastern United States. And you see a little kink there Sunday night into Monday morning. I'll back it up here a little bit for you so you can see that kink. That is what, over the Dakotas there, is what probably sends this chillier air into the eastern plains. So that's what I've got kind of reflected in my forecast. And then you see an approaching system coming in here from the west. It's a weak one, but there is a dip in the black lines there over San Francisco as we move into early next week. That might help to bring a little bit of lift kind of over the top of the chillier air. So let's watch what happens here with this pattern as we move through the weekend into next week. And you can see along the leading edge of that colder air, we're getting some snow on Saturday up across Montana and the Dakotas. But when that arrives in southern Colorado, as we move through the day on Sunday and the coldest air arriving late Sunday into Sunday night, you see that we develop some snow. Again, that's if that cold air gets here. If it doesn't, we're not going to see this happen. But there's a strong enough signal there that I'm putting that into my forecast for the early part of next week. So just a little bit of a review here for you. I do think there's a chance of the temperatures coming down from Saturday into Sunday, and then maybe a little bit of a system to deal with as we move into next week. So I hope that's helpful for you in terms of the planning purposes. You'll find those changes in the Peaks2Plains Weather app, and of course on Peaks2Plains.com. In fact, speaking of the website, next Sunday brings us into March, believe it or not. And I want to show you something I put up on the website over the weekend. If you go to the bottom of the homepage, you will find here, down at the bottom in the blog, a look at what happens as we move into March. Whoops, I don't know why it keeps jumping there. So here's the bottom of the page, and I do have this long-term outlook. It looks like the middle part of March might bring us a little bit of a stormy pattern. So we'll see. We need that, and when we get these maybe a week-long stretch of some active weather, that's certainly something that we look for as well. You know, some of you folks have purchased some Peaks2Plains merch, and I appreciate that. That's an easy way to help me keep the lights on here at Peaks2Plains Weather. This week, I'm going to highlight some of my Peaks2Plains Weather partners. And I want to start off today with Advanced Impressions, who is the folks that make my shirts, makes my mugs and all of that. They are celebrating their 30th year here in Colorado Springs, and they might be able to help you out. And so I want to introduce you to Advanced Impressions. I'm in the shop at Advanced Impressions. If you've been to the Peaks2Plains Weather merchandise store, you're working with Advanced Impressions, and I'm so honored to partner with them, a locally owned, family-owned business. I'm here at one of their embroidery machines. What's cool about what they do? One custom piece to thousands. They can take care of everything. Let's meet Tom and Karen and learn about their 30-year business here in Colorado Springs.
We started out as a bulk printing company, so we did mostly screen printing at the time, so we were always chasing the big orders. Yep. You know, it keeps cost a little lower when you can do big bulk orders, but nowadays the focus is on demand. So COVID drove us into the digital printing market. We weren't in it before that. And once we brought in digital printing, it really opened the doors for the no minimums.
You can cater to smaller companies, even someone who wants to do a shirt for their dad. Happy anniversary for mom and dad, or you know, something funny for, you know, a co-worker or something that we're able to do it.
Screen printing, embroidery, digital printing, laser etching, with the ability to do no minimums with our digital printing process, keeps costs down. Doing that, as well as fast delivery, because we can do it in-house.
And I love the web store options for folks that need to have a club. You don't want to track down every person who wants to have an order. What size do they need? And how many of what do they want? And now I have to go back and collect their money. Having a web store takes that all out of their hand, and then just gets them the product that they need at the end.
What we typically like to do is sit with a client at the front desk and get a feel for where they're at and what they have, what their goals are for their business and their appearance. We have in-house art staff here that can help. If they don't have a logo, we can do logo design. If they do have a logo, we can take that logo into multiple applications then for embroidery, screen printing, or digital printing, and we'll sit there and figure that out with them. We'll go over their apparel options with them. What do they want to look like? How do they want to portray themselves? We have thousands of options to pick from for apparel. So our staff will help nail that down to whatever few items they want to do. And then we, from there, get an order in our system. We mock it up. We send them a proof for approval. Once they're happy with that, they just sign off on it, and we go straight to production. In 7 to 10 days, it's in their hands.
I'm Karen Hewen.
And I'm Tom Hewen.
We're Advanced Impressions. You have an image, wear it.
Well, they are such good folks, and I am so grateful for their partnership. Here's a look at the merch page on Peaks2PlainsWeather.com. I was busting out the hat over the weekend. Of course, the mugs. I got a great photo that I will show you tomorrow when it was snowing in Falcon on Friday. Got this cool shot of a Peaks2Plains weather mug in the snow, and she said that, hey, this is my official snow measurement device now. Hopefully we have a couple things that get you a little bit more snow than what a mug will do, but you know, I appreciate Tom and Karen and the crew there so much. Alrighty, my friends, let's do a couple things here. We've got some more social media comments from you. Patricia is agreeing about the sunrise. Hey, if you've got pictures of it, open up the Peaks2Plains Weather app, use that Send to Matt, and I'll show those tomorrow. Joan says that it was a beautiful sunrise as well, and hey, maybe with some of the high clouds, we'll have those later on this week. Joan asked if Advanced Impressions designed my logo. They didn't. I had started that process before I met Tom and Karen. A friend of mine named Marvin Harrell, who has a design company, Harrell Designs, here in Colorado Springs, he helped me with that. I had this concept that I kind of wanted, and then Marvin sort of took it and made it work, and you see that back behind me. I love the logo, and I think some of you do too, given by the amount of shirt orders and mug orders that we've had. And again, I'm so grateful for that, helping me here. Okay, here's the last thing I'm going to do today. I am going to end with Banjo's barometer. For those of you that missed the forecast earlier on, this is a day of some light wind ahead of what is coming here for Tuesday and particularly Wednesday, when the wind starts to pick up and we start to get concerned about fire weather again. And we end the day with Banjo's buddies. Jenny sent this in. This is Slothy, who likes summertime. You can see Slothy talking to Diesel there. Diesel, you see that fur coat on that dog. Diesel likes the colder weather and the snow. They are talking about that, seeing, maybe figuring out their differences, if you will. My friends, that is it for Monday here. Please go ahead and share Peaks2Plains Weather with your friends. Share the Peaks2Plains Weather app with your friends. This is our weather together. It is a growing movement and something that I'm loving watching those numbers continue to increase, and it's really something that I'm proud of. So thanks for helping me with that. Have a great Monday. You need weather information 24 hours a day. You know where to get it. Peaks2Plains Weather app and Peaks2PlainsWeather.com. Have a good day.